Hey guys, Jim Horn here, Redo Banshee Parts and Accessories. Today we're going to look at how to replace the factory thumb throttle with an aftermarket one, or put it back together. There's a lot of intricate little pieces in here, and sometimes it's confusing on where they go. So I'm going to show you today in detail how you take it apart and put it back together. All right, so come on over, I'll show you. It doesn't take hardly any tools. I use a little hook dental pick for being able to get a spring off. I use a pair of needle nose pliers and an 8mm. All right. You might also need a flat tip screwdriver, but we're gonna work with this for right now. Okay. So first things first, guys, you got to take the cable out of the throttle. So the way we do that is we just push the throttle all the way open. So there's a lot of extra cable here. I take it with my needle nose pliers, and then I let the slack off, and I just pop it out and release it. Okay. Pretty straightforward. All right. The next step here, we're gonna take this as an 8mm nut. All right. We're just going to pop that off. And when we do this, it's not going to spring apart, but all the pieces are going to be real loose on here, so I'll show you what we got. Okay, so we got the nut comes off first, the flat washer comes off second. Okay, then we've got the arm for the cable comes off. Then we have a special washer spacer here, as you can see. It's got a shoulder on it. Okay, and then we've got this guy here that the spring is attached to. You can just let the spring pressure off of it. Now, one thing to inspect when you're taking this off, you see how that's got a nice rectangular shape to it? If this has wear, if it's wobbled out inside here on either side, then that means it needs to be replaced. But this one's nice and square, as you can see. It's not all wobbled out or worn, so it's gonna go back together nicely. Okay, the last thing we've got here is we've got the spring. Okay, and I'll show you how to put the spring back on when we go to put it all back together. All right, and then so what we can do is once this stuff is all off, you can just drop this thumb throttle right out through the bottom. Okay, now one thing to note in here, you won't have to take this out probably when you're replacing it, but there is a plastic bushing inside here that stays. Okay, now your new thumb throttle may come with a bearing, may come with a seal, or may come with a new plastic bushing. But anyways, if you need to replace that stuff, it's pretty straightforward on where it goes. Okay, so now once we got that, if you have to replace the seal, it's underneath down here, okay, or the bearing. But we're just gonna pretend like we don't have to do that for right now. We got our aftermarket thumb throttle lever here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna slide it up in here. All right, you see how it popped that bushing out. Okay, now this one actually would take, this thumb throttle lever is actually a little bit too tall, all right? So it would take an extra bearing. There'd be a bearing underneath of this. So I'm not gonna put this one back in. For illustration purposes, I'm gonna put the factory one back in. You see the difference here? See how that one's much taller? Okay, it actually needs a little spacer on this one to make it sit like that. So I'm just gonna put the factory one back in for illustration purposes, just to show you how it goes back together. Okay, so what we do, pretend this is aftermarket. We're gonna slide it up in here. Okay, the first piece that's gonna go on is our spring. Okay, the spring is going to go like this. This is gonna be on top with the hook on top, and this is gonna go in here. We're gonna place it down inside. Okay, and do you see how the spring is going to go like that? And then we're going to take it and we're just gonna push it around, and we're just gonna set it here for now. Okay, just for now, we're just gonna set it there. Now we're gonna take this piece. This kind of takes a minute to put all together. You gotta hold pressure here or this thing will fall out usually. So now we're just gonna put this in here like this. Okay, you set it on there. Okay, now we're gonna take our little hook. We're gonna put it underneath of here. We're gonna grab that, and we're just gonna hook it. Can you see that? See how it hooks right there? Now, this thing may try to turn on you, but you wanna make sure that this stays in that groove. You don't have to hold it really, it'll hold itself once you put it all together. Okay, next step is our shouldered spacer. The flat part goes on the bottom. Okay, that holds that down. Okay, the next one is the arm. Goes like this. Okay. We're gonna slide that on here. And then we've got our flat washer is gonna go on here like this. And our nut is the last step. Put your nut on there, tighten it down. This does not have to be tight, just barely tight, okay? Okay, and it's just finger tight there, and I'm just gonna give it a little nudge. Oops. Okay, so now you're gonna hit that, and you're gonna make sure that it springs back, okay? If you do that, it doesn't spring back, something's wrong. So just take it back apart and rewatch the video and do it right. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab the cable, move this out of the way. Okay, you're gonna wanna grab the cable with about an inch of slack here, okay? Like that. And do you see how I have to turn this, it was like this, it was flat, right? Well, it's gotta be turned so it's like this. You see how it's got kind of that, a new cable will not have this natural curve to it, so it's kind of a pain in the ass. But you just set it down in there, okay? And once it's in, boom, you let it go like that. Now this one is really easy. This one came apart and went together really easy. Sometimes the cable will fight you. It won't go down in the slot like it's supposed to or whatever. You just got to kind of mess with it a little bit. But anyways, I hope that's helpful, guys. That's how you take this thumb throttle assembly apart and reassemble it. That is the order of how the pieces go out and back in. If you got any questions, feel free to give us a call at 541-419-6054, and make sure to hit us up on our website at www.redo-parts.com. Go ahead and smash that like button right now and subscribe to our channel for lots of future videos. All right, see you later, guys.